this video, I want to talk to you about some things you should consider before becoming a software engineering manager. Now, myself, I was a developer for about 6 years or so before deciding to make the jump. And it sort of just came up as an opportunity. It was presented to me and I really wanted to try it. So I took the opportunity and I did it for about 2 years, and now came back to a more IC role for a bit, and I think I will eventually go back to being a manager again. So that's some of my experience. But before you go ahead and take that plunge, I want you to think about and consider some of the following things, because it is completely different, like they say, but what makes it completely different? First of all, the opportunity might come to you in many shapes or forms. You might really want to step into it. Maybe you mentored a few juniors. Maybe you're just tired of coding for a bit. So definitely it's one of those career paths that you can go to, and it's not something you can, you have to stick to or whatever. You could definitely switch back and forth, and people do that. It's completely normal. But one of the biggest things that will happen to you right away is you realize, you're not coding as much. Because typically once you have a team of people that you're looking after and making sure that they're doing the right things, working on the right things, that they're happy, that they're building things up to a standard, they're shipping on time, all those things will take away from your time to code. Now, it doesn't mean you won't be coding at all. You'll still be doing probably fixing bugs, small features, and lots and lots of code reviews and technical design meetings. But the coding for big features itself is not something that you're going to be doing anymore. And usually that has a bad effect on you. I know it did for me. I felt kind of useless, but that's a normal part of the process, and you'll kind of grow into realizing that the role of a manager actually could be either to bring down the team and make things worse, like the kind of more stereotypical middle manager, or you're going to take your team forward and actually keep them happy and make them better and shield them from things that they don't need to kind of get into. So typically I find that you will be in more meetings, and I think that it's a normal thing. You also have to be very careful about the meetings you go into, but for me, I'd rather I go into them than my team. The most important thing about meetings, I think, is that you come out with a decision. Are you making decisions for things for your team to do or things to happen? As long as things are happening and decisions are being made, you're doing the right thing. So meetings are okay. They are part of the job. You will get more of them depending on the organization and the level of manager you are. Like a director, senior manager, director will probably have a lot more meetings than a manager managing a single team. I think the biggest buckets you need to realize is that you're not just an individual contributor. You're not just mentoring junior developers and working on big projects as a tech lead, maybe, if you've done that before. But you're going to be doing a lot of things. Like, first of all, you got to know the product very well. If you're working on a product-based kind of company, you got to know it very well, and you got to work cross-functionally with a lot of people from different parts of the company. You got to have to be a good project manager. For example, are people working on the right things? It's a huge thing. You got to look at the engineering bar, our code going in, that's good. Our practices kind of the way or the best practices that engineering team could have. You have to actively and proactively make the team better constantly. That's your job. And maybe it's not something that you did as an individual contributor, but now you're responsible for it. And the last thing is the people. I can't stress this enough. You're going to have to interact with people. You're going to have people problems that are way more complex than code. People are going to leave. You're going to need to hire people. You need to keep them engaged. You need to have a healthy balance of senior, intermediate, and junior developers. All these people problems, and keeping them happy and them trusting you is probably one of the most important parts to me about being an engineering manager, because at the end of the day, you're managing people, and human beings have emotions. They're very complex, way more complex than software, and you need to be able to know what to do in those situations. And that takes time and mentoring on your part. So hopefully you're in an organization where there's other managers and senior managers to help you do that, and especially engineering or software ones, because they give you that specific context of problem. So that's about it. Let me know if you have any questions, but that's, I think, what it takes to be a manager.